This time we're going to look at Genesis 1:3, which is, of course, the introduction to God's work in restoring the world and making it a place suitable for his people. So, from the original Hebrew text, it reads this way: And God said, "Let there be light," and it was being light. Keep in mind that God had cast Satan out of heaven because of his rebellion against him. So he was taken out of the light, sent to the darkness. And the darkness is, of course, the kingdom of Satan. It's his realm, so to speak. And God is about to take that kingdom from him by invading it. He's going to send light to the world. Now, it's a great picture in my mind in Acts where Paul is called by God to become the apostle to the Gentiles, the missionary to the non-Jewish world. And so by doing so, he reflects upon what that mission involves. So in Acts chapter 26, verses 17 through 18, it says, "I will rescue you from your own people and from the Gentiles I'm sending you to them to open their eyes and turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan to God, so that they may receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me." Do you see the connection between light and God, darkness and Satan? Paul is being told that he's going to lead the Gentiles out of darkness to the light, away from Satan to God. Darkness is Satan's realm, light is God. And so in this statement, he is showing the connection between light and darkness and how Satan is in the realm of darkness. Now, it reminds me much of what is said in John chapter 1, verse 5, here in Genesis 1:3. "The light shines in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it." The verb translated understood here can also, and is reasonably translated, overcome. In other words, the darkness does not overcome the light. Of course, the darkness didn't comprehend the light. I mean, that's the whole indication of the ministry of Christ and his life before he was crucified and even after. That those who did not come to him or did not put their faith in him, they didn't comprehend at all what Jesus was doing, nor the purpose of his life or death or resurrection. But my point here is that because it can be translated conquered, that's a clear statement in regard to how it is with light. Darkness cannot conquer light. Light, in fact, conquers darkness. Light overcomes the darkness. Light drives out the darkness. Now, the verb that's used in Genesis chapter 1:3 indicates that it's a continuous action of the light coming into the darkness. In other words, it's something that happened in a moment in time, but that process of light being present keeps on going. There's no end to the light that God is bringing into the world. It can't be snuffed out by the darkness, as John tells us. And so it's a conquering light. It's a transforming light. Now, when we think of light, we go into all sorts of ways that light is crucial to life. I mean, photosynthesis. The bottom of the food chain, plants, can't exist without light. We know that. But let's be honest here. Could not plants be made by God? I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Could not plants be made by God where they don't need light to function, to produce the kind of food that is necessary for humans and the creatures of the earth to thrive? Of course he could. There are plants that are present now that don't need photosynthesis to prosper. And when you go into all the various functions of light, I mean, being able to see, being able to move about, we need light to be able to function in that way. He could have given us a sense that did not require light to be able to be mobile, to get about, to live our lives. There are all sorts of different sensory perceptions that God could create that would enable us to do just fine without seeing, in the sense of having to utilize light to be able to do so. Now, I want you to consider the fact that this light that is sent, that comes into the world in Genesis 1:3, I believe has a bigger function at this point, indicates something more important than just the mechanics, the science of the value of light for life and for the planet. In John chapter 8, Jesus makes this statement: I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Now, consider this statement that's found in 1 John. Here we have a theological understanding of God and light. This is the message we have heard from him and declare to you. God is light. In him there is no darkness at all. Now I want you to consider this point, that Genesis 1:3 is not just a statement about the working, the mechanics of God's creation of the world. It's first and foremost a declaration that this is God's world. And he has come to set it up, to prepare it to be the perfect place for God's people, humanity, to live. Genesis 1:3 is a statement on the part of God that the beginning of life is him. And without him being present, there is no life. There is no humanity. There is no all these things that we love, horses and sheep and beautiful plants, and none of that. It all starts with God. God is the one who has invaded the darkness and begins the process of creation.